Award goes to Royal Dutch Airlines. It doesn't matter who you click with. Only one of those clicks.
So what did he say? He's got this base of liberals who he hasn't done anything that he promised. So what did he say? I'm for gay marriage. I'm the first president who's ever been for gay marriage. And they put the White House up with the pride flag colors. And if you go look at it, look, this was a concerted effort from the top. You can go look. There are these nexus charts where you can map out words in major publications. I'm not talking about mom and pop news outlets. I'm talking about the New York Times, the Washington Post, like the big dogs. Go track how many times the word racism was mentioned. And around 2012, it shoots up.
Yep.
Social justice shoots up. Transgenderism shoots up. White privilege shoots up. This was forced on the American people. Why are we having these conversations now? No, the people did not wake up one day and decide, we want to have a national conversation about chicks with dicks. That didn't happen. This wasn't an organic movement. It was all of the most powerful people decided this is what we're going to talk about. And why was that? Because it's the perfect, look, when you're failing on policy, you pivot to a culture war.
Yep.
You pit people against each other, so they're fighting each other.
Yep.
We had in this country, we had an Occupy Wall Street movement where leftists were standing outside of big banks screaming, we are the 99%. Right-wingers had a populist movement called the Tea Party, where they were outraged about the bailouts of big banks, unsustainable debt, government spending. They don't like that. That's not what the powers that be like. You're getting too close. Look, they like you fighting about issues like abortion. Now, I'm not saying abortion isn't a very important issue. It's a very important issue. But us fighting about that issue doesn't scare anyone at the Federal Reserve. It doesn't scare anyone in the CIA. They don't care if you fight about that issue. They love you fighting over transgender bathrooms.
Yep.
They have no, and you can see this every day. They're stoking this culture war because they have to distract from the fact that they completely failed on everything else. That everything in the 20th century so far for America, politically speaking, has been a disaster.
It's like distracting people with a submarine.
Huh?
They distract you with the submarine, but all the issues are
Stories
going
like
on too
that,
as well.
they love stories like that. CNN loves an airplane crashing. They love something where it'll get clicks and no powerful people will be upset about it. If they actually loved real stories that just got clicks, there's a lot of stories that get clicked. They've been passing them up for years. It's part of the reason why shows like this, shows like Joe Rogan, are taken off. Do you think that like people getting vaccine injured is not a story that would generate a lot of views for CNN? The vaccine that the government just mandated has hurt all of these people. That's a huge story. Why won't they run it? Because all their commercials are freaking pharmaceutical companies.
Yep.
No, what he's saying is facts, and I really realized this after the Epstein case. The Epstein case was a spit in our faces. Do you know how united the American people would have been if we would have gotten to the bottom of the Epstein case? Objectively, and you can't even argue with this, there's not a story that would have gotten more clicks and more views than the Epstein case. So you have this random guy who might be a part of an intelligence agency, and he has all these billionaire buddies that just donate $100 million mansions to him because he's a nice guy. And out of all of these millionaire and billionaire buddies, none of them can afford to charter their own jets, so they gotta fly on his jet. And sometimes they fly on his jet to his private island where there are children. Let's just call it a restaurant. The media wants us to believe that all of these millionaire and billionaires flew to his restaurant, looked at the menu, but none of them ordered anything. They just wanted to go look around. And then he gets caught, and he goes, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. I'm gonna tell the world who ordered what. And then suddenly, and the media, who's never agreed on anything ever, gets in front of the American people and says, yeah, you know, bad things happen to good people all the time. You might slip and fall, break your neck. You might shoot yourself in the back 4 times. I can't control what you do to yourself. This was all an accident. And now we have his accomplice, whose father was a part of some type of intelligence agency, and this intelligence agency isn't really intelligent because they didn't know any of this was going on, apparently. But his accomplice, who's now doing 20 years in prison, got arrested for selling a product that apparently nobody bought. And this man has a really interesting taste in art. He has a painting of President Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress. And then he has a bunch of pictures of what appears to be younger women. But don't we all love art? All of this happened and every major news outlet went, we're not going to cover that story. And if you say anything that contradicts what we told you, you're a conspiracy theorist. The rich know that during tough times, people need somebody to blame. And we've been pitted against each other so well, and it's so ridiculous that half the country don't even know what a woman is. The media cover these types of stories so the rich can cover their own ass, and it's just obvious at this point.